Welcome back to the Love Leep Podcast. I don't have the thing over by me to do the
he doesn't have
claps.
your applause.
The applause is in there. You just
it's in here. I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Wait, press the button.
It's one of the red 4 ones. You gotta click one of them.
Okay, tell me what this is.
That's music. That's not it.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Leave it alone. I'll take it.
Hit it again.
I like it.
No, don't hit it again. Don't hit it again. That's laughter. You can hear it in the headphones. That's laughter. I think it's the third one.
It's still going.
You can hit it to stop it.
Oh, wait.
Just now hit the third one.
The sound clip is 12 seconds long.
That's not it. Go to the fourth one.
What was that?
Don't worry about it. No, the third. Go back to the third one.
Wait.
Go back to the third one.
Cha-ching.
Hold it. There you go. Okay. All right. We'll do the intro again. All right. And you gotta get the.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Love Leep Podcast. We have on George and Ashley. Oh my God. So the soundboard used to be on my side, but then I switched up everything and brought the desks up. Anyways,
now I have a new job.
It's a smaller soundboard and it's now on her side. So now
on the ones and twos.
Doing a great job.
Yeah. So she's the MC mix a lot.
I'm glad to be here.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
So
hello.
let's talk about this, because how long has it taken us to even go ahead and try to record this with them?
A month of Sundays.
A long time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
I think we all just be on CPT.
For sure.
Color people time. Right, Ashley? Mm-hmm. Anyways, we have crazy lives.
No.
They have kids. We just be busy.
We're
and that's
adults.
just what it is.
We're adults.
Yeah.
Trying to
That's
be
what
adults.
it is. So yeah. Do you want to get in?
We could get into it. So first we talk about how we know them.
Yeah,
And
most of everybody, usually it's Adam knows them first.
yeah, I brought you into the friend group pretty much. That's what it was.
Go ahead.
So I met George, very short story, back at Slippery Rock. His cousin Ronnie, aka Ronald McDonald, that was on here.
My little brother.
Right.
On the last episode?
No.
Yeah. Was it
2 episodes?
2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ronnie and I got to Slippery Rock the same year, and George came up for a couple of parties, and that's how I met George, plain and simple. But then when I went back to Pittsburgh, this was around, what was it, Christmas, what was that, 2013? I think fall 2013, Christmas time. That's when we were at Ronnie's old house.
Oh, yeah.
His mom had cooked this giant spread. The ziti was crazy.
He
Shout
still
out
talks
to her.
about that.
Yeah,
because
it was good.
Every year.
That's when I first met Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that you two were dating for a long time, but come to find out, I think that was your early years of actually dating. Somewhere around the early times.
Don't get into that. Because they have to explain that.
Okay. All right. I won't say
Yeah.
too much. I won't say too
Don't
much.
spoil it.
All right.
Yeah. So, and then the rest is history. We just all stayed connected. I do have a funny story.
Oh God, he's gonna tell the same story. I already know what
brother.
it is.
Which one?
Is it the one where
I
y'all
locked
went
him out.
The homecoming?
Yeah.
The lockout?
Yeah.
I call that the lockout year.
The lockout.
I don't remember this happening.
Because you were asleep and we couldn't get in.
You need to leave.
We never actually even went to. Okay, so the homecoming story, just really quick, because I don't think it fits into the rest of our podcast at all. So I'll just tell it now. So Ashley went to Cal U at the time, and we came down from Slippery Rock. It was myself, Joe, and Ronnie went to Cal U for homecoming. We missed the game and everything. We just went for the party. We pull up to, I believe it was Ashley's apartment or somebody's apartment that Ashley knew. And we were like pre-gaming, and the football players, and they were like, just give it some time, like just let it marinate, let the party get hype first before we actually like go there. So we were like, okay, cool, because I'm trying to get there. This is a new school. I'm trying to get there. So we end up getting there, and the police are shutting down the party.
Waste of time.
And I was like, the one other reason we went is
that man
because
said I wasted a fit.
Well, because I knew the DJ. Ray was DJing, and he would always kill it. Yeah, DJ Making Nasty. He would always kill it for Slippery Rock parties. So I'm like, this is about to go crazy. We walk up there. The police aren't letting anybody in. The party gets shut down. So we just are like, we dispersed at that point, tried to figure out where we were going. We were going to be staying somewhere at Cal U. Details were hazy to me, but we were like, we're going to be staying there. And we get to the apartment. I don't know whose apartment it was, but we're calling George and we're calling Ashley. This is like 1:30 in the morning.
Cooked.
Nobody's picking up.
Cooked.
And letting us in. So we said, you know what? It's been fun. And we drove back to Pittsburgh that night. We probably didn't get in until like 3:30.
One thing they're gonna do, they're gonna sleep. So
and lock you out the crib while doing it.
We are
lock you out.
Taurus for real. Taurus.
They're gonna sleep.
I do just want to say, I had nothing to do with this. I was not aware of the plans at all. So,
we know.
You know who you can blame? Ronald.
Who?
Blame Ronald.
That's fine. Yeah. We'll blame it all. Ronnie, if you're listening, we blame it all on you.
Yeah, it's his fault.
It's his fault.
Well, anyways, so then when I met, because I met George first, and that's when George was, as Adam would say, pledging the greatest fraternity ever.
Ooh, that P word.
Created. Yes, they had this little please don't.
Anisha hates that one.
I hate it. They had this Meet the Kappas event, and that was my first time seeing George.
No, what's
nope.
It? Oh, okay.
Read between the lines.
Sure.
So that was my first time ever seeing George. And now, remember, I asked, and I was like, how in the world did I never meet Ashley at his probate?
His neophyte presentation.
There, and I remember
you were. I know. Why wouldn't you be there?
Adam, but I was there, like with Adam specifically. Like I remember seeing Adam,
which makes no sense.
No,
to
you
me.
were there with Ronnie.
Ronnie was there with us. Ronnie came with us. Like I was there with Adrian and stuff, but I remember distinctly seeing you. Like we talked, Adam. Like
yeah.
Yes,
I remember that.
Which is so. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know, that day was just like a blur because I was mostly with the Noob, so I'm like, don't know how that even happened. Don't know how that slipped. So then I don't want to say years, couple months or whatever go by, and George and Ashley are at the proposal. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, George, I know you. Ashley wasn't feeling well, and so I still never met this woman a day in my life, but she was there.
I also helped set up. Side note, I also helped set up a bunch of stuff,
which is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all right. But my first time meeting her was when she was in her hotel room because she wasn't feeling well. Do you think Ashley was that nice to me? No.
Me?
No, to me.
No,
I'm
saying,
just saying.
Are you asking me?
No. I was just saying in general.
Yeah.
Ashley was just like, yeah, I'm not feeling well. Congratulations. I said, oh, thank you.
I am not and it's crazy. Like George makes fun of me all the time because my career, my job, I love everything about it. I am the most friendly people, social worker. Like, and then I come home and I'm just like,
when you're clocked out, you're clocked out.
And it wasn't, the thing is, it wasn't even anything that like I just thought was like weird. But then now when I think back, I was like, dang, we really still didn't even actually get to know each other at that point in time. It was just like a hey, hi, bye situation. but you had already knew Bianca and Brianna and them, all of them before me.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were just like, oh yeah, she's cool people or whatever like that. But then that's when I don't even know how we started texting, but once we started
commented
texting
on a video I posted on Instagram about lipstick, and you're like,
there we go. I remember that. So I slid in her DMs and I was like, yeah, we're gonna be chummy, okay? We're gonna be chummy. Because we were planning weddings at the same time. Because then shortly after is when you got proposed to, when George proposed. And so then we were like, well, we're planning weddings at the same time. Let's chit chat. Yep. And that's how that happened. And now she can't get rid of me.
Never ever.
So tell us your origin story of your relationship from the Saunders perspective.
Mm-hmm. You want to go? You want me to go? You can go. Go ahead.
So George, so we met. So if all the people at our wedding, most of our friends knew how we met, but our family thought we met at a party up at Cal, and that's what it was for years. Then at the wedding, we did a video and we told everybody we met on Hot or Not, and that's how we met.
The OG,
you know, when Vine, way back with Vine days. The crazy thing, George, I had 2 profiles. George swiped on me the first time. So that was, yep. Crazy. Yep. He swiped on me initially. You want to answer that?
No, you got swiped. But I remember your picture because I think you had the same picture on.
I got locked out of one account, so I made a new one.
So when I saw your picture again, I wasn't going through as quickly, and I was like, "Oh, she alright." You know what I'm saying? And
I think you slid into my DMs, right? You said hey. Yeah. He said hey to me first.
He's a straight shooter.
And we. Obviously, we have 2 children.
Sniper gang.
So we were talking a little bit, and then it was just like kind of dry, I would say, definitely from my part, because I was talking to somebody else at the time. But George was always the one that like texted me in the morning, good morning, and like hope you had a good day.
Queen.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. And then at night, you know, hope you had a great day, good night. And he did it for like a week and a half, I would say, and then he stopped. So I was like, okay, like that's weird. So I texted him, and at this point, I'm not gonna lie, I barely knew his name. Like at this point, I was just like, I just know that he was texting me, and then he stopped. So I texted him. And I was like, hey, like, let's FaceTime tonight. And we were on Christmas break because I remember I was at home at my dad's house. And I was in like a big sweatshirt, glasses, literally looking like this with glasses, eating ramen. This man comes on in a white beater, a hat. He's ready to have a conversation. You know, he probably got cologne on, sprayed himself for a phone call. Yeah, crazy. And we FaceTime for 8 hours the first time we ever talked. And we realized our birthdays were a day apart. And then we were supposed to have a date on December 12th, and we hung out twice before our first date. And then we started dating on day after Christmas, and New Year's we said we loved each other. And that was when we were 19 years old.
11 years.
Y'all was moving fast.
Literally flew.
Y'all some fast tail people.
I had a hair tie on my wrist, and he took it off my wrist, and that's how he asked me to be his girlfriend.
Yeah, I thought it was the corniest thing in the world, but I was
in high school, the boyfriends would wear their girlfriend's hair ties.
But look, I had to play the game because I'm like, if I say this is corny, ruin all of this.
It's okay, because we already know y'all was matching t-shirts and shoes going to Kennywood. So it's fine. It tracks, okay? It tracks.
What got me is that Ashley was trying to put up multiple shots. Like she was trying to make sure that somebody was going to connect with her.
So wait a minute. No. She said that she got locked out. So she got locked out of the other one. Mm-hmm. My question is, so since you didn't know his name, it was just his number?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and then George asked me out on a date, and the other guy did, and I said yes to George. And then we went to the movies, and to dinner.
You was keeping it player, Ashley.
She was keeping it real P.
Because you had to. How do you remember which numbers?
She was keeping it real
You know?
P because she never once messed up.
Like accidentally call him the wrong name. I didn't mean that. I meant to send that.
She didn't use names. She
Yeah,
was
they did not
Wikipedia.
have unsend back then, so.
Yeah, it would have been stuck.
So you had to be real good, real smart, real calculating, because you can't unsend a message like, "Hey, Jeff." That's not my name.
That's not my name.
I'm sorry, who's Jeff?
I meant to say sorry. Sorry, that's my dad's name. I meant to text him. Like,
Jeff Hardy. You know who Jeff Hardy is?
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead, George. What's your perspective?
With that, everything, I mean, she didn't exaggerate on anything. That's basically how it went. I was the guy saying good morning, good night, hope you have a good day, how was your day, all that stuff. There were multiple messages there where it was just on my side of the screen for a couple days at a time and stuff, but I'm like, I'm gonna try a little bit, and if she don't bite, then whatever. I'm going back on how to ride, and I ended up stopping, like she said, and it was a couple days. There was a little bit of time in between before she actually hit me back, and then I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I put on a hat. I did.
So did y'all tell anybody, any of your friends, that you guys were talking to each other before it became serious? So did you tell Ronnie beforehand?
Yeah.
It became serious quick, though. Like I said, we FaceTimed December. No, was it? We FaceTimed December 12th, and by December 26th, we were dating.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, within 2 weeks, we were dating. In 3 weeks, we said, I love you. I remember, like, distinctly
by New Year's,
telling him, like, if we break up, we're never getting back together. Because at 19, I was like, I'm ready to settle down. Like, that's well, here we are. But, at 19, I thought I was grown. If we break, and we've never taken a break. We've never broken up. We've set very... I guess I don't want to say guidelines, but like their expectations on what we wanted in a relationship.
And boundaries.
And we opened up, I would say, pretty quickly about like our lives. So it was kind of just all laid out, like take it or leave it type of energy.
Right, but it was in a way that like the things that we were speaking to each other about, regarding who we are, what our expectations are, and stuff like that. They already lined up, so it wasn't like a harsh thing to kind of go through. It was just like, oh, okay, me too, and yeah, ditto.
Same.
So, but yeah, so.
So then, what did college look like for your relationship? Because we were all around the same time, in college, just about. So how did that look?
Yeah, so he was coming up to Cal. I lived in Vulcan Village. That's what you were talking about, my apartment, Adam. So I lived up in the apartments at that point. So George would go to class, go to work, and drive up to Cal every night and drive back down.
Fun fact,
wow.
I opened my first credit card at Speedway to have gas to drive to and from Cal.
What?
It was one of the worst mistakes of my life. But
I'm never going to be able to financially recover from this.
Yeah, it took a little bit.
Why we just bought a house at 30.
Took a little bit, but
yeah, that's what it was. We were together. I mean, literally
as much as we could be together.
I will say that, like, because of like my past in things, like I had really bad separation anxiety from George. Like it was a lot. Like if he was not there, I just couldn't really handle it. So it was like I felt bad because I didn't want him to feel guilty when he had to go, but it was definitely hard because we just together so quickly,
Yeah.
So you guys are technically the first interracial couple on the podcast. So let's kind of dive into that. I mean, obviously the world isn't as crazy as it used to be, but you'll still face some challenges no matter what, regardless. So how was that in general? Just kind of talk us through that when you guys got together.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I keep talking first, but
No, you're good.
okay.
It's working. It's working. I'm piggybacking.
Yeah, so our parents, it definitely wasn't an issue, I would say, at all. I remember the first time George met my dad, and George thought it was going to be like scary and get questioned. My dad's like, oh, have fun, be safe, and whatever. Yeah. So, but like, I remember in high school, I like talked to my stepmom and dad about like, what if I brought home somebody different from me? And my stepmom just was like, there's white drug dealers, black drug dealers, white doctors, black doctors. And at the end of the day, we trust that you're bringing somebody home that's caring for you, right? So like they put a lot of trust just back on me, to be happy. But I will say we struggled with my grandparents, definitely. When we first started dating, he would come around, George would come, and it would just kind of be uncomfortable. Like he was always very respectful and would talk and volunteer to do stuff, and it took some time to warm up, but they did. And then when we got pregnant with Adri, my pap specifically cut off all ties with me. Just like
no.
I think it became really real at that point that like this is her life now.
And I think just for context, Adri came.
We'll get into Adri and stuff like that
because it wasn't like a super long time,
right?
Yeah, but
so like my nana, like I would go over there when my pap wasn't there, and she would give me money and like give me stuff. And when Adri was born, they came to the hospital. Like they didn't know what Adri looked like, they didn't know her name, they didn't know anything about her, and they came to the hospital. And like that was the first step. I'm like, I might not be able to change him, but he's doing enough for me and my family right now. And like that's all I can ask for at the moment. So through the years, it has gotten like so much better. Like my pap and George talk on the phone. They talk about work. They talk about cars. They talk about his parents. They talk about everything. And my pap has really just been more open-minded with things, but it's taken some time to get to that point.
Yeah, and just like with him, just with older generational people, they grew up the way that they grew up, whatever their background is and stuff like that. So by the time, you're 70, 80 years old, like you're already used to a certain way of viewing things and stuff. So it's
right.
Like, I was annoyed, but like, it is what it is. I'm going to be here regardless. And, as long as Ashley allowed me to be. And we had our real man-to-man conversation and stuff where it was just me and him. And he explained to me, he was just like, listen, like, seeing this is new to me. I've never seen this before. And stuff like it was on that type of time. And we had a decently long conversation about it. And, even though I obviously don't agree with a lot of things, like I think me coming around in the way that I did, the way that we did, to be honest, really just kind of shed light on something that he was never, exposed to or thought that he would be exposed to. And once he was exposed to it, it was like, oh, this isn't what I thought and stuff. Yeah. So it was kind of like that, but
yeah. And I will say too, like with us, like we definitely laid the groundwork because my sister's engaged to a black man as well. So, I had to, like, looking back, like I'm happy that we kind of were the ones to work through all of that because it's not like that for her.
Right. And we crawled so they could run.
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
But yeah, that's my dog now. Yeah, he'll call me out of the blue, just be like, "Hey, did you see the pit game last night?" and stuff like that.
That's good though. That's good.
Yeah. So
then with Adri, where did she? That's your first child. Where did she come into the picture in your relationship? How soon was that?
1.5 years.
Yes, when we found out.
Yeah. I found out in July of 2015 that I was pregnant. Got pregnant in April. So I was 11 weeks and 5 days when I found out I was pregnant. Like first trimester gone. Had no idea. We just turned 21 and found out we were having a baby
a month prior.
Yep. So definitely a lot. I was going into my senior year of college. George was just starting up at Point Park because you finished CCAC and now was going for his 4-year degree. And we were having a baby. So
how was that finding out? How did it feel?
You want me to take the lead on this one?
Go right ahead.
All right. So long story short, we were in Atlantic City with my mom and dad. Ashley is type 1 diabetic and stuff. And her blood sugar was just going, we didn't know it at the time, but her blood sugar dropped to like 10. Like it was like a very, very, very serious situation to the point where she was just out. Like she was barely conscious. I'm in the other room. My mom is trying to talk to her. I hear my mom saying her name over and over because she's not responding, but like her eyes are open and stuff. And my mom, being a nurse, thank goodness, she immediately started seeing what was going on. So paramedics came, got her together, blah, blah, blah. We came home after that and it started to happen again. And it's not funny. It's not funny, but like she was starting to get like loopy, really loopy. Look, it's funny now because she's obviously.
Like I would be like the lightest purple, but it like in my head that's what I'm thinking, but it comes out like bubble balloon clown.
Yes, like because again, just due to her blood sugars dropping so low, like so that's quick, how you know like things are like shutting down, basically. So got her together and stuff again. And this time it's like, you need to go to the hospital, see your doctor, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward, we do that. It's like mandatory that they do a pregnancy test on women when it comes to diabetic, issues and stuff when they come in. We're sitting in the room, Ashley's sitting in a little hospital bed. I'm sitting in a little chair next to the bed. Nurse comes in, does a little pregnancy test, and she's like, doing it on the counter, which I don't know if it's sanitary or not. I ain't gonna say the hospital, but but anyway, she's doing it and I'm on my phone, whatever. And I see her look up at Ashley and she's like, when's the last time you had your cycle and stuff like that? She was on birth control. So like she only had them every like 3 or 4 months or something like that. So they weren't, consistent at that point, regardless. When she asked that, like now I'm on my phone and I'm sitting in the chair and I'm like, like I'm looking up. I'm like, that was a weird question. But Ashley's like, she explained that. She's like, I'm on birth control, so I only get them every, so often, blah, blah, blah. And then she didn't say anything. And Ashley was like, why? And then she just looks back and she's like, you guys are pregnant.
And it dipped. She dipped.
Yeah, she left.
She grabbed her stuff and went right out the room.
So mind you, we're in the emergency room at the hospital. We're literally watching SpongeBob on the TV.
On
like
the TV,
21, watching SpongeBob, doing kid stuff. Because at that point, we're barely legal.
Yeah.
And he's like excited. And my like life is just like flashing. Because I'm like, I'm about to graduate college. How am I going to do this? What is going to happen? My whole life is like flashing before my eyes. And he's like, it'll be okay. Everything's going to be fine.
Like I was in mode like, I got us. We're going to be all right.
He was ready.
I was excited. Like immediate, like the shock was obviously there, but I'm like, yo, I'm about to have a son. Like this is crazy.
Oh,
like,
wow. And then we go into the ultrasound and I'm thinking like a couple weeks most, like, I'm thinking little baby in there. I saw a heartbeat. I said, she's like, yeah, you're about 11 weeks and 5 days. You're out of your first trimester in a few days. I said, okay. So
the hard part's over.
3 months gone. And like, because I was so stressed I was pledging my sorority at the time. It was finals. Like, she's just like, you were probably so overwhelmed with everything happening that you weren't realizing what was going on with your body. And I've always had like digestive issues and stuff. So like stomach aches weren't new to me. But I didn't have morning sickness. I didn't have a lot. But I was also 21. Like my energy level was
totally different. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we turned 21 the second week of May, and we found out all this whole situation happened like the middle of June. So it was literally like a month after turning 21 that we found out and stuff. But
So how was it telling the parents?
Cold, brother.
My parents were fine. You want to explain how that went? So at this point, I'm checked into the hospital because being diabetic, I'm high risk. So there's a bunch of stuff that we had to do, like just to monitor everything, get me on prenatals, check the baby. So my parents are coming to see me in the hospital. My siblings are coming because I'm in the hospital. So my mom and sister came, and I did them both. I just handed them the ultrasound pictures.
Weirdo.
Because like, what am I supposed to do? So I just like handed to them. My mom's like happy and crying, and you know, my sister at that point, she's 17, 18, 19, 21, 22.
No, she was younger. She was like 15.
15.
Yeah.
So she's just like, whatever. So my mom was go with the flow. My dad got it and just walked out.
No.
Wait.
You gotta get a context to this. Okay. I'll say this one because I remember this specifically. So at this point, me and her dad are cool. We're like this, you know, whatever. But George. But so I'm sitting in the chair, like to the left of the bed. The entryway is on the left side of the room too. So he comes in and, you know, remember there was still an issue going on, like just with her diabetes and stuff that we needed to figure out. So that's what they're all coming to the hospital thinking. So he comes in. So it's him, you know, I stand up, shake his hand, what's going on? Da, da, da. It's him, me in the chair, Ashley in the bed. Ashley just grabs the ultrasound pictures and reaches over me and hands them to her dad. I'm in full defense mode at this point because I'm like, he's swinging. He's gonna swing on me because I'm sitting down. I'm defenseless. Like he's swinging.
And just start choking you.
Yeah, like he's literally like standing right by my knee, and she's just like, and he's like, what is this? And he goes, as he's going to reach out to grab the ultrasound pictures, he realizes what it is. And then he pulls his hand back and he looks at her and he looks at me. I've never seen somebody's face turn red so fast. Like he broke out in a sweat and then just didn't say anything, just turned around and walked out of the room. Her brother is on the other side of the room, which he's 18 at this point. He's like, what is that? What is that? This is it. And then he stands up and looks and he's like, oh, I told you your butt was getting big.
Adam.
Like a couple weeks
Not
before, my brother's like, why is your butt getting big? I'm like, shut up. Like, no, it's not.
Out of all the things.
Yep.
But and then he runs out after their dad and stuff, but he's cracking up. Like he thinks this is the funniest thing ever, but he runs out after them. Fast forward maybe like 10 minutes, like a real 10 minutes. Her brother comes back in and is just like, hey, my dad wants to talk to you. So I'm like, all right, now we about to get it going in the hallway. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least there's like people around. You know what I mean?
He was ready.
So, like, what else would you expect? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a very nice guy, but like, this is his firstborn child, daughter. Like, so I go out in the hallway and he's pacing in the hallway. So I'm like, all right, he done stretched and stuff already. Like, he's good. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do none of that. So I walk up to him. Again, no words. He literally just hugs me and is like starting to cry because he's starting talking. He's just like, whatever you guys need, I'm here. Like, I just can't believe this, but like in a positive way. But like he's like like all of that and stuff too. So like I started crying too because I'm like, this change of emotion is a lot. But
so then after that, my dad takes George to meet his dad on 51, which is like the main highway. Meets him on 51 because the car's at the hospital with me. So I'm at the hospital. George has to go home to get some stuff to come back to the hospital. So my dad said when he stops, so George's dad is George. This is George. My dad's George. So my dad drops this George off to Mr. George. And Mr. George says something like, what are we going to do with these kids? And my dad's like, yeah, just the way, like something like you have no idea.
He says, so he was like, oh yeah, you have no idea yet. Like,
so then tell them about, you condensed the story, but tell them about your I thought he died because I didn't hear from him for hours. Like I'm like calling him, like he's dead. I'm gonna have to raise this baby by myself.
It was bad. So when he said that, like him and my dad are like standing outside in between the cars talking, just general, chit chatter. I'm already in the passenger seat of my dad's truck, just like not moving, not saying nothing. I'm not even on my phone. I'm just staring at the dashboard. And then I heard him say that, and my neck snapped over, and he's laughing at this point. Like he like looks at me and starts laughing, but my dad, he's just oblivious to stuff. So like that didn't strike him weird at all. So anyway, we leave. We have to drive to downtown Pittsburgh, which is probably about like a half an hour or so, whatever, to pick my mom up from work. My mom, like I said, my mom's a nurse. She retired now, but she worked at the hospital, Presby downtown Pittsburgh. We go to pick her up, and it's about 11:30 at night at this point. So go down there, get her. She gets in the car, and she's pissed. Like she had one of those days.
Oh God, George.
But we were getting ready to have something like some type of like cookout celebration, whatever. She had to cook food for and stuff like that, but she didn't even get the stuff to cook the food yet. So we had to go from downtown to Walmart out by us so she can get food. And it's like midnight at this point. So not only was her shift bad, she has to go to Walmart. She can't even go straight home. She has to go to Walmart, get this food and stuff so she can wake up early the next day and cook and stuff. So it's just all bad. So I thought about telling her in Walmart because I'm like, what are you about to do at Walmart? You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to tell my dad in the car down there because my dad is like the understanding, like at this point in life, I done taught you mostly everything that I could. I'm trusting your judgment. If you mess up this time, I'm going to just look at you and say that was dumb. Don't do that again. But you have to figure it out. I couldn't even tell my dad. So fast forward, we get home. We're all sitting in the kitchen. My mom's still pissed off. My dad is sitting there. And I stayed in the kitchen because I'm like, I have to tell them. I can't just let this linger. So I didn't know how to tell them. I wasn't saying a word. It was like literally like something was just stuck in my throat and it was just keeping me from speaking. Eventually, my mom looks over and is just like, what's wrong with you? And I look up and I'm just like, I literally couldn't get it out. It's the probably the first and only time in my life that I've ever been truthfully speechless. And I tried to tell her then, and I couldn't get it out. So she's just like, "What? What's wrong?" Like, I look over at my dad. Now he's looking at me from across the table, and she starts guessing things now. And she's just like, "What? Like, because like Ashley said, I was going into my 4-year degree at Point Park, and I was going to play basketball. And she's just like, "What? Like, did the coach say you had to like redshirt or like something like that? Like." Is it something school related, blah, blah, blah. And she's just like, what? Like, is Ashley pregnant or something? And then I looked back up and then they both looked at me again. Complete flip flop. Because like I said, my dad is the understanding one. My mom is, she the hit first, ask questions later one. My mom busts out laughing. My dad jumps up, throws the chair on the ground, smacks the cabinets, starts yelling, boy, I told you. Like, I thought I told you how many times and it was a lot. But my dad was really upset because he thought that I was not going to school after that because I went to trade school. I just graduated from trade school. He thought that I was just going to go with that now and not go and get my engineering degree and stuff like that. That's 95% of where his anger came from. But when I told him, he completely like came right back down. And it was that was
I got
basically
out of the hospital, and then George's mom said we could live there, and the baby had a room, and I moved in, and we were there for all of Adri's life. So up until this point. So everything changed. They love Adri. They are Adri's besties. So yes, very blessed.
Her and my dad are like
The same soul,
yin
honestly.
and yang.
It's crazy.
Like
It's crazy.
72 years apart.
What you got?
So I'm interested to know, when it came to Ashley, your dad's reaction, did he ever tell you, like after the fact, what he was thinking or feeling during that moment in time before he brought you, George, outside to the hallway?
No, I don't think he ever talked. I don't think we've ever had like a sit down with it. I just know that he was excited for us. Like my dad is like the most go lucky, happy, like positive person. But he's also like the most anxious and like overthinking person, emotional person I've also ever met. So he never really talked about it, but he was always super supportive in there and calling and checking and like, just being there for us. So I don't think anything, I think there's just a lot going on in that moment. Also, like he lost his parents pretty young. Like I was probably in high school with my grandma and then my pap. So like his parents are now gone. So I know like we kind of talked about that a little after, and he'll always tell me like how much they would have loved Adrian and stuff. So I think that was probably a lot of his feelings at that point, was just adding somebody to our family when, we've had a lot of loss in our family in recent years. So I think that was a lot of that happening.
Yeah. So what was the dynamic when, giving birth with Adri and still being young and in these streets, partying and stuff like that? What was that? How was that? Or in general, dating too, because you guys are still fresh in a relationship where you're navigating, learning each other, loving each other, and now you're bringing a life into the world where you have to also equally give yourself to this child, but then you're young, so it's like you're kind of burnt out from certain things and stuff like that, and you also still want to be out partying and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I think from the beginning, like we were very understanding and had a lot of support from our families. Like with babysitting and stuff, like Adrian was never in daycare because everybody kind of chipped in and supported. I think me and George tried to get as much time for ourselves, like, together, going out. Like if we were to go out, we would try to do that together and spend time by ourselves as much, in the pockets that we could. But we were also both busy with school and internships and jobs and life. So I just think we were so busy with everything that you kept just kind of pushing. I will say I was probably the one that went out more. And that was a lot of because of like the Huntington's disease and like that diagnosis that happened in grad school. Like my mom getting diagnosed and I'm getting diagnosed and not understanding what it was. So like I during that time, like there was a lot of negativity and judgment from a lot of, especially older women around us, like close women around us that, was really hurtful because they're, talking about me and my mothering. And at this point, I'm 21. First thing, I'm 21. But like without having any idea of what's going on, like they just saw what they saw and took that and judged me for that. And I think that that's something, I struggled with. But at the end of the day, like George was always very supportive because he knew why I was doing what I was doing. Like, to put the record straight right now is I couldn't look at my kid, like, because now she's at risk for Huntington's. Like, my mom got diagnosed, had no idea what it was. I got diagnosed, still really don't know what it is. Like, my whole testing was traumatic. Like, and that was the only way that, like, I could be okay, was like to be away from her because I struggled so hard to see her. So that was really hard. But again, I think because George always knew that, like, we were always good. It was never like resentment. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but like, I don't think there was ever any resentment or anything. But like, I had to grow up and grow out of that and like work on myself and my emotions and things. And, things got better. But there was definitely a period that it was rough.
Yeah. That's very understandable. And just watching, I guess, on the outside, just watching you guys have kind of been through a lot together, especially with you. And I don't want to talk about too much of it because I don't want to get you guys too emotional, but you've had that where, dealing with the Huntington's disease, your mother's diagnosis, yours, talking to your daughter about it, and talking to her about testing and stuff like that. You go on all of these different conventions for it. And now also bringing in another child when you've just recently lost your mother.
Mm-hmm.
And that I can tell is very hard to kind of navigate, just for you guys, because you guys are still young. You guys are in your 30s. And I'm sure for you, Ashley and George, you can kind of agree to this. I'm sure that it was a lot harder with you raising a second child with your mother not being here.
Yeah.
Her not being able to see your second child and things like that, in general. And I know how watching you, how frustrated and stuff you were when it came with your mother being sick and having to, go back and forth and check on her and stuff like that, just keeping her, keeping her together and stuff like that. So I saw the frustration for you guys. So I understand, you guys did go through a lot. Shame on the people for doing you the way that they did you and everything like that. But just to let you guys know, if nobody tells you, you guys are amazing parents. You guys are an amazing couple. Whew, you guys are amazing in general.
Come on, cuz.
Watching you go through what you went through with losing a parent in general. And we've had that conversation before about, how you felt when you did have Adri and how people treated you. And I've never want anything like that for you ever. And it sucks. And I know it does, because I know how bad that was for you. And I wasn't even there, but listening to you talk about it later on in life and see how it still bugs you. You're an amazing mom, and you are. And George, you're an amazing father, and you are.
Thank you.
We've got people around us, but you guys are really a pillar of who we see us being as parents, just because of who you guys are, how you guys take care of Adri, just in general, and just keep pushing along no matter what. So I just want to let you guys know that, because I know that you guys have been going through a lot. It's been a lot. So you guys are amazing. I just want to let you guys know that. Sorry, I had to get, I said I wasn't going to get like that. But y'all got to understand, Ashley has she has this little piece in my heart. She'll get on my nerves sometimes, but she can't go anywhere. We've had our ups and downs, but regardless, she can't go nowhere. Anyways, let's go ahead and lighten this mood up a little bit, right?
Real quick, I definitely just want to say, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like I can in this instance, rarely, but we really appreciate y'all, man, for sure. Just even you speaking that highly of us, like, that's not something you hear every day and stuff, and that's refreshing isn't even the word. So we definitely appreciate it, for sure.
So it's a little bit tougher to follow
I'm sorry.
up on that
I'm so
right?
sorry. I had to do it at that point. I mean, because we've heard it. We've heard those conversations. We've seen it. That's hard. Like that's a lot to kind of deal with. It's not just something that's just like small. That's a lot to really deal with, especially raising a kid at 21. You have your mom there at that point in time, and then when it's time for the second one, she's not there. That's hard.
Yeah, I mean, they've been thugging it out in the trenches, and that's
all you can do, man.
Exactly. What I'm saying? Well, that's what we love about y'all, and also the fact that you're always open to, at least with us, maybe we're their favorite couple, but always open to when we talk, having just very deep conversations, but being that support system for other couples and other people when you guys have a lot going on, right? Stuff that you might not have even chose to have going on, and just the amount of class that you have in dealing with it is, it's a sight to see. It's awesome to be a part of that journey with you two. I kind of got in a front row seat to from the start. I'm like one of those indie people. I was there from the beginning.
Yeah, okay.
I was there from episode 1. You know what I'm saying?
Without me, none of this would.
Right.
None of
this works. No. But what does life look like now? How are things going now with you all, and what's new on the horizon?
Yeah, I feel like everything we've manifested since starting to date at 19 and the things that we talked about, like, yes, we've had to adjust some things and, some goals that have had to get pushed back. But I feel like where we are right now is everything that we've wanted. We wanted to get married. We wanted to extend our family. We wanted to buy a house. George wanted to go back to school and now he's doing that. I wanted to teach and I get to do that. I feel like we manifested all of this through our relationship from the beginning. And it's just everything is coming, it's becoming a reality, which is really crazy to think. Like the fact that we're sitting in our own house right now is like still weird to me that I'm like, I'm going home, like to my home.
To my house.
This is mine. And it's just, like I tell Adrian and Addie all the time, I'm like, we're doing this for you. Like, the baby's 2 months old, but like I'm home alone with her and I talk to her all the time. I get to be a stay-at-home mom right now. I'm on maternity leave. I didn't get that with Adri. So I've got him, I'll have 3.5 months with her. And, this time that this picture of our life is like exactly where we want to be, I feel like. And all we can do is just keep going and keep pushing. We do what we can for our kids, for each other, for our families, for our friends. And we're happy doing it. I think that that's the big thing is like, yeah, we get stressed and overwhelmed. Like I've definitely had hard days, definitely postpartum, losing my mom. Things have been probably the toughest it's ever been. But on the flip side, like we love what we do and we're happy doing it. And I feel like that's
what it's about.
Yeah, we're happy together. Like, I know it's corny, but like we don't really argue. We don't really we're really best friends. Like it's crazy. Like I said the other day, I was trying to describe a Subaru. And I'm on the phone because we're looking for a new car. We want to get a little bit bigger of a car. And I'm like, I don't know what type of car it is, but it's like a woke white lady who likes plants, like very naturey. George is like, no, a Subaru. I said, yes, yes, that's a car. It's like things like that. We're just so in tune. And it's like, I don't know. It's just sometimes like, I don't even feel like, I don't know, like we're the same person. So it just sometimes doesn't even feel like.
Because like you really have to think like outside of having Adrian, we were 21, like we started dating, we were 19, like a decently fresh 19. So like, we're 30 now and we've literally grown into adulthood together. So like learning adulthood things and how to manage adulthood things and stuff like that. We've literally helped each other into adulthood and get to where we are now and stuff. So we've definitely kind of just naturally have done this mentally, emotionally, everything.
What do you think the key to that is? Like, because from 19 to 30, being together that long, now 2 kids in, 2 years of marriage, and just how, especially those like 19 to, I would say like 25, 26-ish years, sometimes even towards 30, like that's a tumultuous time. Right? People are doing their own growing. What's been the key, the secret sauce for you all to continue to grow as individuals, but still grow together as a couple?
Yeah.
I feel like I would lead that question with like acceptance. Not only acceptance of who you are, but who you're with. Selflessness. When you're in a relationship with someone, there's a lot of compromises that need to be had because at the end of the day, you're growing together, no matter how long y'all are together. From the time that y'all say like, okay, let's let's see where this goes. Let's do this. You're growing with each other. You're learning each other. So really just being open-minded with your partner and not trying to force yourself to fit some type of mold. Because I feel like a lot of people try to do that, especially nowadays with social media and, you know, all these other pressing things that are always in our ears and in front of our eyes and stuff. Just being yourself with who you're with and understanding that, you know, this is an us thing. So
yeah, so I was gonna say definitely transparency, and I think something that like we've really just come to learn over the years is like, okay, something didn't go right, so what are the next steps? Like we can't be angry at each other, we can't be frustrated all the, you know, we have to figure out, okay, this didn't work out, so what's next? Okay, this didn't work, how can we try this a different way? And I think the compromise is always there, you know, always having to compromise, you know, with each other. Again, we are very open with our communications, but because we've been together for so long, we can read each other like crazy.
It's more of a natural thing.
Yeah, like the other day, like I was saying something. I just had a really off day. Like I was just off, and it was just a really tough day. Just like kind of missing my mom and stuff. And like we were downstairs, George was talking about something, and we came up, and I'm just like, I just need to go lay down for a little bit. Like I'm just, not doing the best today. And he's like, no, I know. Just, go relax. And, I think that that's also the reality too, is like stepping in when your partner needs you. It's not, I saw a trend on TikTok that's like, ask your partner if they'll make you a coffee and see their reaction. Like George will always make me a coffee. I will always make him a coffee. Like it's never, go do it yourself, and like just seeing a trend like that, like you realize, like, I feel like just talking to other couples and things, like I realize like how lucky I am, especially even as a parent. Like I have a husband who cares for me, my daughters. Like he's not the husband that's like, I have to babysit my kids. Like he is daddying it up over here. Like, he works from home and he has the babies, so I can relax, I can pump, I can clean up because he has the baby, because he's something. As soon as he walks in the door, she's yours now. I've been with her for 8 hours, 10 hours today. Here you go. I think I just really lucked out. And I remember like before we started dating, like I'm not a super religious person, but I remember like praying to God. I'm like, I just give me somebody. And George just came into my life when I truly needed him. And we've just been here. We've just been together. We've been rocking it. We've been really. I think there's a lot. I know that kind of went all over Adam, but I don't think there's a perfect answer, and I just think there's a lot of things that go into it.
Right, and I think there's not a perfect answer because it's a very situational thing. Because people are different. Finding somebody that's exactly like you, may seem like a dream to some people. That same thing might seem like a nightmare to somebody else. Like waking up and you're talking to somebody that talks to you like how you would and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different thing. But yeah, just really being there and staying open-minded and just
doing your best.
Don't be a goofball.
Do your best. Or don't be a goofball.
Don't be a goofball.
Just a goofball. What you want to get into now?
I think it's time for rapid fire.
You think so?
No, bro, I'm sweating.
He really is. That's crazy.
Okay.
So, welcome to the rapid fire segment of the Love Leep Podcast.
This is the easy one. This is real easy. Well, it can be if you, yeah, it'll be fine.
So the rules, you have to answer quickly. It's like the, little TikTok joint. You got to answer quickly. You can point, but for those who are just listening and not watching, you'd have to say who's who. So we'll give you time to respond, but it's got to be like a gut
just
reaction.
A natural reaction. Okay.
Yeah, visceral. Like you should know this.
Yeah, if it gets confusing, then we'll ask. Like if you guys like, it's one of us, we'll ask a little bit of context on some of these. Just
okay.
To hear.
Okay.
The first one we already know that.
Yeah, it was who made the first move.
Yeah, you said, hey, right?
I guess the very, very first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who said I love you first?
I did.
God, Ashley.
I know. It's crazy. I
definitely want to know
actually,
why.
side note, I said it and then I didn't say it again for like days because I'm like, what just happened? But yeah, he did say it back though. So yep, here we are.
And that sauce. You know what I'm saying?
This next one, I have to intervene on that one. Go ahead.
Okay, who's the better cook?
Ooh.
You? I'm the better cook when I like to cook, and now that I have a house, I can cook all the time.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're just gonna talk about him with the crock pot grits.
Hey,
All right.
All I wanted for Mother's Day.
All right.
Some grits.
We ain't have
He made some crock pot grits and forgot about them for Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And weren't they burnt a bit or?
Yeah, they were a little charred. They had a little smoky flavor to it, but you know, you just had to eat the ones on the top. You couldn't
This was what, 8 hours? It was 8 hours of slow cooking.
No, it was 10. It was double digits. I know that because I had to cook them through the night, and I fell asleep, and I could hear my alarm go off. I had my phone in my pocket, and my shorts it like suppressed like the volume of the alarm. I did not wake up.
See, we went down a rabbit hole the other day when we were talking about it and seeing if we could make crock pot cream of wheat. We started looking up all this other stuff. So it was like, oh, we can put it in a pressure cooker.
No, it was pressure cooker grits.
Yeah, it was.
We don't want to stay up overnight like
trying to stay up like that.
Trying to get up every hour on the hour to stir them joints.
I was
like, no, thank you. No, I'm fine.
Grits. Real.
Because I just got back from Atlanta, and I'm like, I want these. Like, I want grits. Like, I want good grits, not the 5-minute stuff. Like, anyway.
Not the 5 minutes. Mine take at least 20 to 30 minutes.
I was about to say, we get the 5-minute grits, but the way that I cook them, it takes a
you got to cook them long. So it's not that gritty, nasty, like that gritty taste.
Yeah. She wanted them southern savory, buttery, salty.
And she got them burnt.
Yeah.
She didn't want sugar in the grits. She didn't want them gritty. She got them burnt. Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay.
And she had them burnt.
Who was the better driver?
Oh.
George. I hate driving.
Who's more organized?
Oh, George. Yeah, I would say that was. What do you have a room for your shoes at your house?
The whole basement is George's space.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole basement is now.
For those who don't know, he's a sneakerhead.
The iPad is literally sitting on 2 Nike SB boxes right now.
Sneakerhead the long way.
Yeah.
The long way.
Big sneakerhead, not to be confused with the little one, okay?
Not the little ones.
Who has the better fashion sense?
George. I like sweatpants and a t-shirt. Keep it simple.
I mean, I give you credit though. You be putting that stuff on.
Yeah,
though.
for sure.
We went to the B5 concert. She was cute. She had Adeline all dressed up. You know, it was real cute.
We had a great time.
You gotta add in a picture.
Yeah, the good B5 concert.
The B5 biddies. Not sponsored.
Not even mad. That's fine. Sponsor us, B5. We'll come see you again.
You gotta see.
Exactly.
You gotta see.
They follow me back on Twitter, so it's fine.
I saw that.
You got to see if one dude will let you use his song in the final.
No, absolutely not. No, that was horrible.
Oh no, not that guy. No,
Yeah.
Not the opener.
No.
Okay.
Despacito.
Who chooses where to go for dinner?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steak and Shake, right?
If only.
I wish.
Yeah, because they got rid of your Steak and Shake at the water.
Every time we come to
now.
Ohio, we
Yes.
You have to go all the way to Ohio?
Yeah, that's the closest is Ohio.
Either that or like it's like DC or something like that. But
DC is not close. That is trash.
Ohio. We're coming to Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Okay, who wakes up first?
Me.
Really? Oh yeah. No, we knew that. Do you remember that time we called?
on like an off day, like tomorrow.
I can get up in the morning. George takes 20 alarms. I set one alarm and I'm up and I'm fine.
That wasn't the question though.
Me.
You remember that time that we called George? Remember when we called and he didn't answer, and then Ashley answered, and it was like wasn't it like super late? It was like 1 in the afternoon and he was still asleep.
Yep.
Oh, when was this? And what was I doing?
I don't even remember. Ashley can literally go out and be out all night and still wake up early. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Ashley don't like going home.
We was just talking about we were just talking about that the other day. It was a video and it was a guy. He was like, when you hang out with that one friend that don't like going home. And he was like, so y'all ready? We about to go somewhere. I was like, it's 1 o'clock.
He's like, that after party at 4:30.
Yeah, I saw that.
I said, Adam, I said to him, I said, this is Ashley. I said, Ashley had me out that one night. We went to the hookah bar.
We had fun.
We ended up at the Kappa house. I said, Ashley, I want to go see my husband, please.
We had so much fun, though.
We were drunk as skunk.
And George and I had the hookah in the room. We had pizza rolls.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Adrian was asleep.
We watched
we made bagel bites.
Bagel bites. That's what it was.
We made a platter of bagel bites.
And then we were watching
the charcuterie board.
Yeah, we were watching the And One documentary.
Oh yeah, that documentary.
And Adrian was asleep.
We watched like 2 documentaries.
We did.
Yeah.
We were definitely on a documentary wave.
I was like, oh, so where are we about to go now? She's like, oh, don't worry about it. And then we pull up to the Kappa house. I said, why are we here?
Why not?
And we just sat there. Hey guys. Oh, hey, Ashley, how you doing?
Fun.
I'm like, oh my God.
Remember one time we sat on the porch and they were security and we were up and all.
We were watching the little college girls go to the Kappa party.
Yes.
And we're just like, ew.
We had to help that really drunk girl too. You remember? We had to get her water.
Yes.
See?
It's that Nuke juice.
We have sometimes, guys. We have good memories. And I guarantee you, George probably didn't wake up the next day until 1 o'clock. So, okay. Who is funnier?
Think I
The silent.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Who has a better taste in music?
Me.
I would say Ashley because it's definitely more broad.
I listen to everything. I have a wide range of music, but I will tell you, I struggle with listening to new music. I
don't listen to new music either.
No.
I don't know none of these new rappers, honestly.
Ja Rule is my ringtone. So
we'll say yes. Ashley will put on the good 90s hits, the early 2000s. She will have lefties turned up
always
when she's on the aux. So I agree.
Right,
with
the
that.
fact that you go into a bar and they give you the aux.
No, we play
on
it's
the little
you
machine.
Connect to it. Everybody can connect to it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
With
right.
the little
everybody could connect to it. Okay, who has the better taste in movies?
I hate movies.
Ashley does not like movies.
Right, she watches Bob's Burgers all the time.
The Bob's Burgers movie, she'll watch.
That's fine. Yeah.
But
I hate movies.
She is not a movie person.
Who's more romantic?
Me.
I was
George
saying,
has forgot birthdays. Mother's Day.
So now we gotta explain context because you see
how do you forget a birthday
exactly.
when it's a day?
No, exactly. How do you forget a birthday that's right before you? You know how Ashley likes to say things without context all the time.
Okay,
she just
explain.
says, "Huh," or whatever. Ashley,
birthdays and Mother's Day.
Ashley is extremely hard to bow for, and I'm not saying that in an excuse way. I promise not, because spit excuses. But there definitely have been times where, I'll be honest, I've dropped the ball on things, and I may not have gotten her something that was up to par of what I should have. And that's where this is accumulating from. I did not just wake up like, you know what today is? No, Wednesday. Like, no, that's not what happened.
He's just a very bad gift giver.
And I am. I'm not.
You want to hear? You guys know, but just so the world knows.
What's the next question?
What did you give me for our first wedding anniversary? Our paper anniversary. That was the.
I forgot. I got CT. I forgot. I don't remember.
What did you give me for? I wrote him. I can show you what I made him actually.
All right.
Saying I got CTE is wild.
CTE.
Like, I'm not about to let that slide.
Anniversary. It's paper. So I got some nice paper. I burned it. I made this. I hand wrote our wedding song.
Just wait till y'all hear what George got her.
I gave her some paper.
Mm-hmm.
Some monetary value.
$50 bill.
I got you that. I got you some flowers. I got you
from the Rite Aid, from the
That's
Walgreens or Rite Aid in DC.
Yeah, first of all,
a crisp 50 is wild.
No,
away in DC
on my work trip, not away for like a romantic.
No, because I had to drive to Baltimore.
Yes, it was my work trip though.
Yes, it was.
It was her work trip.
It was
because you still went to go hang out with BB.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It was also my work trip as well, and I had to drive an hour to Baltimore to work and then come back.
Anyway, George is just a really bad gift giver.
Do you remember? Was it your birthday when he was just like, "Here's my card," and you bought your own Telfar bags?
Yeah, but like, she never just gets that stuff. You always get flowers. You always get something, but it's the main gift that I kind of airball on sometimes.
Yeah, we've had those discussions.
Because like my mind goes to like expensive things. I don't know why, it just does. But you know, sometimes them pockets don't look as right. I can't get what I want to get, but
anyway,
it's okay. It took your boy a little bit to kind of get better at giving gifts, because we have
nah.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
You want to see the receipt?
Trying to steal my bike? It's mine. Want to see the receipt?
Where do you shop at?
Anyways, who is more adventurous?
Me, I would say.
George, yeah. Bum.
It's only one bum now.
Who has the sweetest tooth?
Me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I always need a sweet treat after I eat.
Absolutely.
Eat
that sweet treat, because I'm about to have me one tonight. That's fine. I got me a chocolate lava cake sitting in the freezer.
You got the ice cream with it?
Who?
You got the ice cream with it?
No, she does not.
Yes, we do.
No, you do not.
Yes, we do. You want to go down there right now? I could go bring it.
It's freezer burned. You don't have, unless you just bought some.
No.
Yeah, so you don't.
Okay, I lied. Who is more likely to be late to work?
George.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm probably doing.
Why you late?
I'm always looking for it.
His wide body scat don't be outside.
It clearly don't have the Scat Pack engine in it either, because he wouldn't be late to work. Who's the better dancer?
Ask him to do the Dougie. He's
I'm not 13 no more. Next.
You used to be in the middle of the dance floor.
Cat.
There's a big circle around you.
Yes, as soon at the family reunions, as soon as that first beat hit, where's Mom? Tell him to do the dance.
And now they do that when he needs to stroll.
Hey, guess
Wipe
what?
Me Down comes on. Go do your little dance out there.
Do your little dance out there. Go ahead.
My knees hurt.
No. Now my knees hurt.
Retired.
You ain't retired either. Okay. We have our question that was asked by the last couple.
Mm-hmm.
Our last question for you. Maybe. Yeah, because I got one more. But this will be the second to last. How do you...
this was
yeah,
weird.
They didn't write this right. Okay. How do you use past relationships to shape your current relationship?
No,
or navigate.
They're not dating.
Who's not dating?
Oh, look at the thumb down. How'd you do that? Look at you.
My hands is right here, buddy.
All right. So just that first part. How do you use your past relationships to shape your current relationship? Or how have you all used past relationships to shape your current? Is probably the better framing of the question.
I don't have really any past relationships. George was like my first real boyfriend. Like I had little month relationships in high school, but like I never dated. So like George was my first boyfriend. So like I didn't have too much going on back there, but we struggled a little bit, and definitely like looking back at 30, like at 19, like stupid stuff, but I think it was just because like you didn't want to tell me things because you thought it would hurt me, but then I would find out about them and then it would kind of blow up into something. So George is also a very nice person. So there was times that like I would see what other people were trying to do to him. And I would tell him like they're trying to, make you do this or make you do that. And we kind of got through a thing where you're like, he kind of closed off and he's like, I'm just done with being nice to people. And we had to have a conversation like, I'm not the one who hurt you, so you can't treat me the way that you want to treat these other people. So it definitely took a while, like, even a couple of years, it would just kind of come up. Like, I would definitely bring it up like a stab in a situation. Like, I'd be like, oh, what's she doing? Or, just because it was there. But again, at 30, I look back like, no, like, what? Dumb. Like, it is what it is. But it definitely, I think that's where a lot of us having to learn how to communicate. Because I'm just like, even if you think it's gonna hurt me, like, I'd rather hear it from you than like finding out or seeing it somewhere else.
Right.
And it wasn't even really him doing it. It was
other people,
the other person that would try to do things and say things.
And for sure. And it was like, just to kind of go back to what we were saying earlier about just like, what's like the secret sauce with like being together so long and this and that. So like in a lot of these situations at the time, I just felt like, this isn't serious enough for me to even like tell you. Like it's not that deep. But I'm looking at that from my own personal viewpoint. So it's like, but I had to understand that like something that might not be that deep to me might be the Earth's core to her. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. But that just goes along with the growth and the learning the person that you're with and, the whole compromise aspect of a relationship and stuff. Like, that's all stuff that was encompassed, from those times in our relationship for sure.
But it was definitely a big piece of our big relationship at first.
So my last question is for each of you individually. And this is kind of like a 3-parter almost. So each of you individually, and then you two as a couple. If you could be put in a room with a past version of yourself, what year is that version of yourself and what are you saying to that person? And then as a couple, if you could be put back in a room as the couple you were at whatever interval that you would want to talk to, what version of yourselves as a couple are you talking to and what are you saying to them?
That's a great question, Adam.
Thank you, Ashley.
Sorry, Georgie Porgy.
It's all right, Nisha Pisha.
I would probably say like teenage me. Me and my brother and sister all lived with my mom. Like our dad's in the picture, my sister's dad's not, but she was a single mom. We lived with her majority of the time. And I think she was starting to become like symptomatic and we would just really butt heads a lot. And I was just so angry. And like, I know I have reasons to be angry. But something like through the years, and I've talked to, one person in particular, and because I was saying how I wish I would have had the opportunity to like tell my mom, like, how she hurt me growing up and things. And, I want to have this conversation because I've tried and it just, she was starting to become sick and symptomatic. And the person said, well, what difference would it have made for you? And I'm like, you're right. Cause it was, I could have found out more things. I could have got more angry and things. So I feel like going back to teenage me, just like reassuring that everything is going to be okay, taking a step back. Because in retrospect now, not having my mom, like regardless of what happened with her, like that was still my mom. And I really took a step back from her because of things. And now I just wish I would have kind of, I don't want to say just didn't like consider, because they were traumatic and they made me who I am, but understand like some of the things that she was going through as well and how that also affected her. So I feel like in high school, like I was just very angry and I was lashing out. So I feel like that's the person I would sit with and just be like, look what you got because of, where you've been in your life.
Yeah, this is a good question. I would probably say, since we're kind of taking like the more general aspect, I'd probably go back to like 14, 15-year-old me. Number one, invest in Bitcoin as early as you can, for sure.
He's so unserious. I can't.
A dollar would have made you holler.
Nah, I'm being dead serious. invest in Bitcoin. Keep cutting that grass and invest in that Bitcoin. But I would I would say that first if I'm being honest. But two, I would just talk to myself and let my younger self know that like you don't have to stress as much about life, about basketball, about school and all of these things. And you don't got to be everybody's friend. That's another thing that I don't feel like I had to like learn that the hard way. I think I just kind of grew up. But you don't got to be everybody's friend, and like remember who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like you are you for a reason. And that's more than good enough. And yeah, when things don't really pan out with basketball, when you get around college and stuff like that, it's all right because you have a great life, at this point. So, yeah.
So what about us as a couple? Where would you?
I would just tell.
What era?
I know that's. I feel like any of the younger ages between like 19 and like Adam's probably like through like 19 and like 24, 25, like stop being dumb. Like just shut up sometimes and just listen. You know what I mean? Like don't always allow yourself to react just because.
Yeah, and I think that that's like probably when we would argue and like lash out a lot was during that age because neither of us were listening to each other. Like we all just, again, we're zodiacs. We're both Tauruses. We're both very stubborn in our own ways. Like I'm more out front and outright about it, and George is more of stubborn but very quiet. Like, and I think that would. Like I would want to talk about it right now because I'm like, we need to talk about this. I can't function if we're mad at each other. Where George is like, well, no, like I need to go step away for a little bit and reflect on this and then talk about it. And I think that was probably some of our worst fights is when we just weren't listening and respecting what each other needed. Like we compromised. Like, okay, you take an hour and then we'll come back and talk because if we go past an hour, I'm not going to be okay. But I know you need that time and space. I think that's one thing. I think too, just like everything will be okay. Like I think we were on such a timeline of like we need to buy a house, we need to do this, we need to do this, and eventually it was like, okay, we'll get to it when we do. And that's why we were able to become smarter with our money and our bills and the credit cards and stuff. Again, here we are. So in due time,
Just give it time. But yeah.
As always, we love y'all. And you know that.
Y'all too.
I'm gonna link Ashley's crew neck in the comments.
A gift.
I did my big one on that one. I did. Okay, I have one too. The husbands were mad that they didn't get one, but it's okay.
What does it say?
Wifey. Oh, Mrs. Saunders.
Wifey.
Isn't there like a year of cotton or something like that?
That's
some
that
years
was year
in, baby.
two. Year two.
Wait, Anisha, you have this same sweater?
Yeah.
Oh, what's yours say?
It says
What does it
Mrs.
say?
Leeper
It says
do you think
wifey
it
too.
says?
It says wifey.
It says the same exact thing, except for it says Mrs. Leeper.
He's
They-
getting to the point that we haven't changed.
Oh,
Because
The thing
neither
is,
of
they
us
didn't
have
get us
changed our
one.
last name.
no! Did you see he was trying to be messy? Did you not catch what he was saying?
Our Facebooks have your last names.
He was trying to say that he was alluding to the fact that we have not changed our name physically.
We know that y'all haven't.
I
And you
know-
won't.
I feel it, and Adam, please correct me if I'm wrong. As always, it's just like at this point, it's just like, you know what, it's cool.
It's too late at this point.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Hey, wait.
I'm outnumbered.
Wait, for y'all, Ashley's
She's
the
the
odd
outnumbered
person out.
person.
One of
Yeah,
these
for
things is
sure.
not like the other. She don't get the same last name, you know? It's y'all against her.
Yeah,
And it's gonna be that way
Very
when we
true.
start having kids.
Yeah.
I mean, even my in-laws call
Call
Braxton
Leeper
Leeper
boy.
Leaper boy.
So Anisha's already
I'm already outnumbered.
outnumbered.
No, it's cool. It's cool. You know.
It's cool, yeah, with a tear falling down. It's cool.
It's your fault. Think about it.
We're fine. Anyways, but yes, I will link that because Bianca has one too. Hers is a little bit different though, but she has one too. But I don't think she's done the paperwork either. So
We're doing
You see the
great.
linkage here.
It is a nice crew neck though. It is.
Ain't it?
It's a
cute.
conspiracy.
Men. All these Kappa men. It's something with y'all.
I don't think it's us.
It's the wives that get the crew necks. They don't change their last name. It's a conspiracy. Think about
Right.
It's the ones married to the nukes
Think
for
about-
sure.
it. I need you to understand what's going on in this conspiracy. Think about it.
He watches too much Dr.
She
Umar.
got the
Anyways,
crew neck, but
that's-
she doesn't want to be a part of the crew.
The crew, exactly.
we're
And it's a
done.
crew
This is
neck.
it. Thank you so much for coming to the Love Leep Podcast. This is it, okay?
Hit the
All right,
button.
we'll catch y'all on the next one.